back to hit you with something a little different. Batman the Audio Adventures, Season 1, Episode 1. For those that don't know, I found that out. This radio show, it's not like a TV show or animated show, it's a radio show with its own in-universe commercials. And I found it on HBO Max. You can find it on podcasts. But Batman the Audio Adventures. And Season 1, Episode 1. And I listened to it multiple times. Again, listen to the art. I'm only giving you just a teaser. This is just a perspective to basically get your appetite going, so you can go ahead and get some of this interesting, dope, creative, different art. Maybe it speaks to you. It speaks to me. Hence, why we're both here. You feel me? So, Batman: The Audio Adventures. It starts out with Jack Ryder. Now, for those that don't know, he's a reporter, journalist, TV show host in the universe and world of Gotham. His alter ego, or I guess his anti-hero form, is called the Creeper. He's like red and yellow. I haven't read too much about him. I just know that much. And he's in the beginning of Arkham City. You feel me? You have to save his butt, whoop some butt to save his. So Jack Ryder, GC1, Gotham Channel 1, live, talking to the people. It's late night, and it's funny. The way I think my man is. I have to look. Dennis Nicholson. I believe he wrote it and directed it. But yeah, it's the way it's told. Jack Ryder is hilarious. He's sarcastic. Let's hurry up and get this done. The criminals are out tonight. And so basically you hear him out there in the street, and the word is, or the energy around town in the new news is that Batman is officially a part of GCPD. He's they don't really define the capacity, which I'm sure is on purpose. You want to keep it nice and ambiguous as possible. But word on the street is Batman has the force of GCPD behind him, essentially, or vice versa. GCPD has the force of Batman behind them. And he's walking the streets, talking to people, different people, asking them what they think. And of course, you get one person who's she's barely paid attention. She sounds like she's sick. She's sniveling, coughing all on the mic. And then you asking somebody else, and he's talking about the professional baseball team, the Gotham Gas Lamps, is going to win the pennant against the Metropolitan. I forgot the Metropolitan team name, but basically he's talking trash. And then you have another guy who he interviews who's like, what? Batman's gonna work for the cops? He's like, is he still gonna be able to rough them up and hang people off of buildings? Because we need him to keep doing that. Because I got a cousin he talked to, and he handled him, or a brother-in-law, and he set him straight. And my man, he don't be talking back no more. He makes sure he pay all his dues. Hey, Batman, I got a cousin. You can hear him take the mic and try to talk to Batman. I need you to go to this address and holler at the cousin because he over here tripping. I think it's Stevie's steam pipe. Yeah, that don't sound like he up to no good. That don't sound like he up to good. So he's interviewing all these different people, and what happened at the end of? Oh, he comes across a little kid, and the little kid walks up on him, and he's selling pencils, I guess, doing some type of hustle. And so he's asking the kid what he thinks about Batman working part of GCPD. And the kid's like, well, you know what? I used to think that this place was just going to fall and collapse and sink into its own darkness and greed and crime and trash and just nastiness, vileness. He was like, but you know what? I guess Batman has given hope. He has allowed Gotham to come back out of it. But basically, all of a sudden he takes out a gun and starts sticking up the Jack Ryder. And it's like, he thought he was a kid. So he was like, hold up, you ain't even a kid, huh? He's like, nah, I just turned 42. They call me Peach Fuzz Pinkerman. Now, I don't know if that's a little nod to Breaking Bad, because Aaron Pinkerman, was that his name in Breaking Bad? Walter White and Aaron Pinkerman? Or Pinkman? So I don't know. So maybe it is a nice little nod. Maybe it isn't. But that's what it made me think of hearing that name. They call him Peach Fuzz because he probably looked like in Batman Animated Adventures, the villain who was like a little girl from the TV show. And she had the disease that she couldn't look older, even though she was like 30, 40 something. She still looked like she was a little kid. That maybe Peach Fuzz Pinkerton. Maybe that's this universe's version of, was it Baby Doll? I think her name was. But yeah, so Peach Fuzz sticks him up, and Mook and Brainer, his goons, to go rob Jack Ryder and grab the expensive equipment and get the camera. And then all of a sudden you're, whoo, and the criminals are like, "Who is that? What was that?" And all of a sudden you hear somebody come down, and you hear him go, "Oh, damn!" And your Jack Ryder's like, he's like, Mickey, get the camera. Mickey, the cameraman, get the camera. You need to record. It's Batman. You even hear him take out a batarang, and then you hear him throw it. That's the cool part about the audio adventures, is that in listening to it, I didn't even realize that I was creating a whole world that was being suggested to me by the certain sounds and the certain way you write. And it's fun. It's creative. I'm so used to TV and movies, and I'm not old enough to be that acquainted with radio plays or shows. That just wasn't a thing. So to hear about this radio play and show and hear how moving it is. And so that's just the introduction. So they played the whole introduction, Batman in Gotham City. And then it's revealed that it's February 2nd. Oh, and you have your host, basically, who's talking you through, kind of giving you little bumpers, or little transitions between the scenes. And it's almost like Jiminy Cricket in the beginning of Pinocchio, when he's kind of looking at the audience like, you going to come on this journey? That's kind of how this narrator is. I got some stuff in my hair. Look at that. Oh. So then we go into a scene. It's supposed to be super late at night, in maybe like a lavish club, right? Decadent club. They mention a bunch of people, I'm sure, dark world, criminal world, and shady dealings. And there's this side room that has a two-way mirror that you can see in the big club area, but can't nobody see in. And it's an office, and there's a lot of blades and a lot of money, and these two people walk in, and one's this big, flashy dressed criminal kingpin. I'm your pusher, buff, you know what I'm saying, ripped, named Scimitar. So he's one of the, what they call them, vice lords, one of the small vice lords in Gotham, the mini vice lords in Gotham. So he has this little thing, little money, little wealth, probably little area, and that he protects or sells his drugs. And his thing is that he's all about the blade. He's like, I got 140 blades, and all my blades have cut and spilled the blood of those who didn't want to pay me tribute. And then, interesting, because he has a blade, he doesn't give it a name, but he talks about how it was made. It was folded 10,000 times in fire, and the hilt has the devil's face carved into it, and in the blade is carved all the blasphemous words. So maybe it's the blasphemer as a title. But he says all this to say, this is the sword of blades of all blades, sword of all swords, and this one I'm saving to kill Batman. That made me think of Zaz, who in Arkham Asylum, and maybe in other manga, maybe in other comics and stories, he says he has a special place for Batman, that he's going to make that mark. And so it's interesting. And also that kind of parallels that thing of this thing where the villains have like almost mimic like a crush on Batman, or like this Valentine's Day thing, or I from afar, or even though I know you're the enemy, I hold a special place for you, even though it's to kill you, even though it's to eliminate you. I hold you special to me. So interesting. But Scimitar's bragging, telling this platinum blonde woman who's banging, beautiful, and telling her about all his stuff and why Gotham is the way it is, because it's the land of milk and honey, and you have all the savages willing to come in and take whatever they want. And while he's, bragging, and he gets to talking about his two tigers he has, Dagger and Shank. And Catwoman's like, oh, you mean those two? And all of a sudden, the two tigers are walking through the club. They're looking through the two-way mirror. And Scimitar is like, yo, what? How'd they get out? And Catwoman's like, I'll let them out. You had them in the cage. You was tripping. You thought they was your pets? Right? Well, what did Joker say in The Dark Knight? We'll see how loyal a hungry dog really is. That's basically what she used on him. She was like, man, you treat these tigers, these cats, my peoples. You know what I'm saying? I'm the cat whisperer. You know what I'm saying? I knew what language to speak to my dogs. So basically, the tigers are messing up the club. They're not hurting nobody, but everybody's going chaotic. Chaos ensues. Everybody's screaming and running. And then when Scimitar looks back, because he's like, oh, this woman, she just got me. She has that sword that he promised to take out Batman with. She has that sword at his neck. She's like, give it up. I got you. And he's like, you're that cat bit. And she's like, what you gonna say? And he was like, Catwoman, sorry. She's like, yeah, I thought so. She's like, so I'm taking whatever I want. I'm a step. I'm going to give you this little sword so you can sell it, so you can get a ticket up out of here. Because guess what? Your enemy is going to come take you out. And she doesn't say it, but she might even go ahead and anonymously spread the word that Scimitar is on his last leg. Go ahead and take him out to the other vice lords, drug lords in Gotham. And so he realizes he just got. And so she's talking trash. Like, now all of Gotham will know the name Scimitar. Yeah, you wanted to be known? You're going to be known. You're going to be known as the dude that got. And I'm sure she hits him with one of those kicks. You hear him knock him down. So she gets the best of him. And then the narrator lets us know, is this the last time we heard of King Scimitar? Is Catwoman going around doing this to other drug lords? Is she just making her rounds? We'll find out next time in a future story of life and death in Gotham City. I love it. And then they go into different commercials. As I told you, they got their own in-universe commercials. So then you hear the Wayne Foundation is about moving the future, going to the future. You hear about Purple Dawn. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe it's a perfume, or maybe it's a new song or something. But then they flip to Blabbo the Clown, the birthday clown. And it's an advertisement for Blabbo the Clown, who is falling under hard times as a birthday clown and can't get hired because Joker, the Joker has ruined it. So nobody wants a birthday clown. Nobody wants a clown. I'm even assuming in this universe, the Joker has assumed the role of a birthday clown to cause some savagery, to cause some tragedy, some grotesque violence-ness, some insanity. So it just totally halted the market on birthday clowns, and Blabbo's struggling out here to the point to where he says, hey, the only crime I'm guilty of is a vehicular manslaughter. You feel me? I don't go all the way like the Joker. So Blabbo's struggling. So anyway, funny commercial. Again, check it out, man. Check it out. I'm just merely giving a light summary and how it feels. My man wrote this, or she wrote this, whoever wrote this. And so then we go into the next scene. And the next scene is on top of a Chinese dim sum restaurant called Yin Yang. I think it's Mr. Somebody's Yin Yang. Dim sum restaurant. And we're on top with Harvey Dent and Two-Face. And they have a victim who's strapped to a chair, or who's standing whose arms and legs are wrapped up, standing in a rusty bucket of water. And Harvey Dent, and there's like a big old neon sign where there's like obviously the electrical control box. And so Harvey Dent, the more sophisticated, suave, smooth criminal version, is arguing and going back and forth with Two-Face, the more savage, gutter, you know what I'm saying? Forget all the artistic, whatever. No, we just DMX. Where my dogs? So they're both arguing. Harvey Dent wants to kill the victim using electricity, AC currents, I guess duality, positive, negative, positive, negative. He's like, it's a concept murder. You know, he seems more, he enjoys the clever. He enjoys the mind, the intelligence, the possibly the itch that made him want to be a lawyer. You know, the arguing, the debating, the puzzle, the figuring out the solution. And it's not always just blatantly in front of you. You have to be creative. And so maybe that's what he's working on. While you have Two-Face, who just wants to use a chainsaw to chop this dude in half. He's like, get him out the bucket. We wasting time. Where's the chainsaw? I could split this up right now. We could 50-50 him right now. And so as they're going through this, Batman is on a adjacent rooftop talking to Robin, and they're getting all the, or as an audience, we're getting the exposition through Batman briefing Robin and them going back and forth discussing on what they should do. And so basically Harvey Dent and his goons, Bob and Bob, his twin trigger gunmen, which I like to think that's Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Maybe Bob and Bob is their real name, or maybe this is their infant name, their origin name, and they'll grow to be Tweedledee and Tweedledum. But I'm like, it's hard. You have twins. Now, technically, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, they're not twins. They're cousins that look like twins. So that's possibly what's going on here. And everybody just thinks they're twins. But this is just theories. This is just theories. There's Bob and Bob, two armed gunmen that have about 30-something hostages in the restaurant. So Robin's ready to kick in the door and break some skulls. And Batman's like, all right, I need you to go in there and, infiltrate and de-escalate or something like that. Basically, let's buy the book, Robin. It sounds like you having a little too much fun. and Batman and Robin, with them going back and forth, you hear that Two-Face takes over. It's February 2nd, that day I mentioned before, and it's the second anniversary since Harvey Dent's face was split along with his personality officially. Maybe that's always been dormant in his mind. And this was the catalyst to let it fully express itself physically. But it's been 2 years, two-year anniversary. And he takes the whole restaurant hostage. He starts splitting up everything to one and one, make everything into twos. He splits the hostages, but he has one hostage left. So with this variable, with this odd number, he takes my man upstairs, and we find him figuring out with himself what to do. Even though he has it, she's choosing between the electricity, fighting with himself between the electricity and the chainsaw. So Batman, right before Harvey is getting ready to go ahead and electrocute my man, Batman throws the batarang, hits the electrical box, overjuices it or overworks it. It makes it explode. Maybe he used an electrical batarang like in Arkham City, right? He used the remote control and made it go through an electric current and then hit it or something. But anyways, he blows up the sign. But then Harvey's like, I still got a gun. I still got a 22. So what you want to do? And Batman's like, all right, I got you. Just give me 1 second. Let me talk to Harvey. He starts using the mind games. He has contingencies, but he's like, yo, let's talk him out of it. Let's see. Let me talk to Harvey. Two-Face, you a savage, dog. Two-Face, you stupid. Basically, Batman's like, yo, Two-Face, you dumb. I want to talk to the smart one, Harvey. I know he in charge. He passed the bar. You a dummy. You just along for the ride. And then Batman says a Latin term, phrase, sentence, which seems to ring in the air. And so it seems to clearly enter Harvey's mind, his conscious, subconscious. And it really rings, and I guess it means something. It has something to do when Harvey is explaining it to Two-Face. It has something to do with this guy, this victim. We're giving him another chance. Let's flip this coin. So he flips the coin, and he gets lucky. Batman gets lucky. The coin flips on the good head. Pause. He gets to save the victim. And Batman's like, all right, time to take you in, Harvey. I'm going to take you into Arkham Asylum, and you're going to get some help there. And Harvey's like, psych! I'm about to be out. And all of a sudden, Batman hears this noise, and he's like, wait, Let me hit up Robin. Did you secure Bob and Bob? And Robin's like, no, I didn't. I saved the hostages, but Bob and Bob got away. And basically Harvey's like, my ride is here. And them dudes roll up in a plane, helicopter. I'm not exactly sure what the flying apparatus was. And I'm not sure if they had a gun attached. Maybe they had some type of armory. One of them was the pilot and the other one was shooting outside of the helicopter or the flying vehicle. And they get away. And it's funny because you can hear Harvey seems to love to do the twos, play the twos. It was a pleasure with the dialogue, but next time you see me, I won't be beside myself or something like that. But he loves to be clever and talk like that, talk like the twos, like his theme is Mr. Twos. And it's funny because Two-Face finds it embarrassing. Two-Face isn't with it. I'm thinking Two-Face would be the one to be about the twos. He's like, man, you sound so goofy when you say that. I'm a savage, dog. I'm a gangster. I'm trying to murk. And you over here talking about, well, I'm twice as better than I was 2 weeks ago, and you're only half the man you were, or something like that. And he's like, dude, shut up. So they get away, and Batman, I'm assuming the reason, so Batman says that Harvey's gotten to the point to where he's either gonna have to save him or end his life. And I'm thinking Batman gets to this point because even though in the radio play they mentioned that Batman had 10 contingencies already, just in case the coin flipped to the negative side, I think none of them would have met Batman's standard of the victim not getting hurt and him being able to just completely take Harvey in. But he's thinking, look, I got lucky. Things went as well as they did. And when I get lucky and I'm no longer in that type of control, I have to figure out a way what I need to do. Now, the interesting part is Batman is saying this right after he became like a consultant with GCPD. So I don't know if right after you've become an official consultant or affiliate with the force that you want to start entertaining killing or taking Harvey out. Now, quite possibly, maybe he just thinks Harvey's always putting him in a situation where he's making me choose not to take him out. And maybe next time he's saying, next time Harvey Two-Face puts me in that position, I'm going to go have to head and do what I have to do to save the victim. Almost like Batman Begins, you know, I'm not going to kill you, Ra's al Ghul. I'm just going to not save you. So maybe he'll have to do that. But I just thought it was interesting. I'm like, man, that's testy. He's not going to be on the force that long. If he makes that move, I mean, it can't be that far from when this was all announced and arranged. And clearly, I'm sure Batman hasn't talked to GCPD about that. And I don't think he's hiding it. He might bring it up as in, look, I feel like Harvey's at that level, at that state, and maybe they'll discuss it. But just something that was interesting to me. And so yeah, he's telling Robin, hey, Harvey's my friend, or he was my friend, but I might have to take him out because he's getting to the point now. So maybe he's already taken people out before. It seems like Harvey isn't new, but it does seem like he's been on a recent rampage where Batman's been trying to get him into Arkham Asylum and he hasn't been. So interesting. And then we go to our next commercial. And so our next commercial is, what is it? Oh, it's a commercial about the Iceberg Lounge Casino. And they have a resident there, Stoveplate Sullivan. It's like having Usher in a residency in Vegas. I don't know if it's that big, you know what I mean? But that's the general idea. He has this residency every Saturday over at Iceberg Lounge Casino, and he's singing a song, and you know it's like kind of like the blues. And at the end of the song, he's like, "Can I go see my daughter now?" And it's like, dang, the Penguin actually has this dude, like almost like a slave. You know, he has a residency, but I mean, a residency is you keep showing up when I ask you to, and you and your family stay nice and safe. Eesh. So the Penguin, savage, hilarious the way they do the commercial though. So that's the second commercial. And then the epilogue. Now this was pretty cool. It's at the Fun House, which is at the Amusement Mile, which is this area by the water where it used to be a theme park where kids would go and like a big carnival, and it was fun, but now it's abandoned. It's old, rotten, left to just disappear. And these two guys are walking into the amusement mile. And the cool part about the amusement mile is its location, because they mention how it's by the water. It's consistent with, I guess, canon. I have a Batman Ultimate Guide where they actually have the map of Gotham. And Amusement Mile, the amusement park that they talk about, I'm thinking it's the same amusement park that's in The Killing Joke, that Joker takes Gordon to make him crack like he cracked with just one bad day. I'm thinking that's the same amusement mile, but that's by the water. Just like they describe it in the radio show, the location is like it is actually in, I mean, and maybe that's what they looked at too. But I thought that was so cool that it was accurately by the water, this like amusement park carnival area. Super cool. So over there, these two goons are walking in, and one of them is talking to the other one. And the one that's talking, I'm not sure what his name is, but the one that's receiving the information, his name is Rocco, and he's a new recruit. So he's coming in to work for the Joker, and this is like his interview. So this one guy's giving him the run through. He's letting him know the do's and the don'ts. And of course, the don'ts are super confusing. Don't fake laugh at his stuff, but then you're scared because he's the Joker. What if I don't laugh at something and he gets upset? How do you feel about mental health? He doesn't want you mentioning it, but then he's going to ask you about it. And when you say anything, don't say you didn't have it. Say anything but no. So just a lot of confusing things. And then obviously right at the end, he's like, and at the very end, whatever you do, do not. And then of course, the Joker walks in. And even before that, you can tell the recruit is a little, I don't know. I don't want to say not all there, but he like jokes around that the Joker and the Riddler are both crazy. He used to work for the Riddler. So he says, do I mention that? And he's like, nah, Joker doesn't like the Riddler. The Joker says the Riddler's crazy. And the Rocco goes, what? That's like the wacko calling the cuckoo nuts. And it's like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? I wouldn't even mention anything adverse about the Joker in like, if I'm in the same city, he might have anything listening. So clearly he's not aware. I mean, he's scared of him, but it just doesn't seem like he knows what he's getting himself into. So like I say, he tells him that whatever you do, do not, absolutely. And then boom, the Joker comes in. And the Joker, I mean, the voice was great. It doesn't sound like any other Joker you've heard, but it sounds like the Joker. And the Joker comes in, basically, I say introduces himself, but basically he immediately is like, the guy back in there that I got tied up, basically, I've been torturing him. And so Rocco's basically immediately nervous, scared. And then the Joker starts doing all the things that one henchman told Rocco he was going to do. He starts being all handsy. He starts saying, he offers him a drink. And the henchman told Rocco, don't accept any drink from the Joker. You will have to get your stomach pumped. It will be a joke, and it will be something that will hurt or kill you. And immediately Joker's like, oh, you feel tense. Let's make a drink. Because immediately when they're getting ready to start, my man is so nervous, Rocco, that he says he wants to, he's trying to say he wants to leave. And the Joker's like, oh, you want to leave? Things aren't going too well. Let me go ahead and ease your stress. Let's go ahead and release that anxiety. And it's like, uh-oh. Now, I don't know if he intends to use this guy as a real recruit or as bait. But one theory I had was that I wonder if the Joker told his henchman to give Rocco this specific talk. Like, this isn't Rocco. I mean, this isn't the henchman kind of doing his own thing, giving his own rundown. Because the henchman doesn't know. The Joker keeps everybody off guard. Now, of course, he might want you to think you know, so that way you're none the wiser when he uses you for whatever he uses you for. But I'm like, I don't think this was the henchman just talking to Rocco, giving him the orientation rundown. I think this was actually Joker, probably beforehand, was like, hey, this is what I want you to tell this guy. He probably already knows his name. This is what I want you to tell Rocco. Make sure, it seems like he's very smart with using his stories. He even has the henchman tell Rocco, none of the stuff you heard is true. It's scary, but they're all just stories. And I'm like, so one, I don't believe the henchman, but I'm like, if the henchman is saying that and he's not afraid to say that, it's because the Joker's given him permission. He's told him to say that. That's how he wants him to set him up. That's how he immediately gets influence, mastery over anybody that works for him. He gets mastery over their mind. So we can have him do whatever. Yeah, I mean, pretty sick. Sick writing, sorry. I mean, of course, not the character doing that to my man Rocco. Even though he made the decisions, and they say in the radio show he was definitely questioning them decisions when Joker brought him in that room to have a drink. So yeah, so that is the end of season 1, episode 1. The title of the episode is A Fortune in Sin, and it's fun. It's fun. Again, as an audience member, as a consumer, you experience this art differently. You're not watching something. You're not given the visual of what it's supposed to look like, or you get to make that up yourself. Now, of course, that seems obvious. But when I'm deliberately listening to a story, paying attention, gathering how it's connected, seeing what affects what, which characters affect who, why any of this is happening, I'm still curious as to why Catwoman was busy on the second and why Joker was busy on the second. I get why Harvey Dent, but clearly I'm thinking that 2-year anniversary, I think it had shock waves, right? Like ripples. Like when you put something in the water and it ripples away. I think that's the kind of effect it had. Because it doesn't seem like coincidence. The Joker's doing something on February 2nd. Now, I guess clearly he isn't doing much. He's recruiting. So maybe that's not a big deal. But the fact that Catwoman chooses to act on that night, it might be just when she happens to plan. It might be fortunate. It might have nothing to do with her. She might have just been following the schedule of Scimitar. But yeah, interesting. Very interesting. Sick show. Go watch the art. Please go watch, or listen. Don't go watch. Listen. It's interesting. On HBO Max, you can just play it, and they'll just have like the visual of Batman the Audio Adventures. In each episode, they'll have a different character up there for you. So the first one, I believe, is Batman. Second one might be Jim Gordon or Barbara Gordon or Two-Face or who knows. But or Robin. But very, very cool episode. Creative writing, songs, jingles. It's interesting when you're just focused on the listening, the creating the world through sound, through description. Yeah, they did a great job. Now, I think they only did 2 seasons. And I think they did a Flash story too. So I'll make sure I'll be transitioning to that. But season 1, episode 1, A Fortune in Sin. And this is just the beginning, because I think all the episodes are connected to like a big arc. So sick. Push, push, push. Keep pushing. A little bit more, a little bit more. Oh, a life lesson, I guess, for the episode. Well, just, I mean, the ability to tell a big, full, lavish story with less tools. I'm so used to watching TV animation movies that I think you need all these things to tell full, complete, deep, resonating stories. Or short resonating stories, deep stories. Stories that attract you, stories that are dynamic, stories that grab your attention and make you change perspective or see it from a different perspective. But that those stories come in all shapes and sizes, all sounds, all lengths. So it's definitely opened my mind up to what storytelling is and could possibly still become, the evolution of storytelling. Yeah. And this interesting thing of Batman for the GCPD, and he's contemplating taking out somebody. Interesting. So watch the next episode, or listen. Go out there, listen to the episode. I don't know if it comes on all the podcast apps. A Fortune in Sin, Batman, the Audio Adventures. Push. Whatever you're doing, push. Just keep going a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. There you go. Yeah, come on. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.